I am originally from Madison. This is my second year teaching, second year with Concept Schools, second year teaching in general. I student taught in Milwaukee at South Division, so not too far, and I also taught in Oregon. So I've kind of had a diverse population. In Milwaukee, it's all African American. In Oregon, it was entirely white. So I got to see kind of the different spectrums. My biggest challenge is with a lot of the anchor texts, because a lot of the anchor texts, first, they're above their reading level. Because we do have the learning gap that we have and we have lower reading comprehension, a lot of the anchor texts are difficult for them to understand. And it will take us, especially for my special education students, it may take us 4 weeks to just finish an entire piece. We can't just sit down and read for the entire 90-minute block. Even today's lesson with 45 minutes, at the very end, we were starting to lose it a little bit. So I need to do a lot of chunking. I've also looked for alternative sources. So for instance, when we were reading The Diary of Anne Frank, we read the first part, the play. We read part 1 together as a class, and it was rough. We had a hard time maintaining focus. We had a hard time maintaining characters. So then to kind of supplement it, for part 2, we read part of it, and then we watched the play version, and we compared them to get that different comprehension going on. We also did a web quest. So it's incorporating the different technologies so that they're still learning the information and they're still doing the anchor text, but breaking it up more so that it's not monotonous reading, which is difficult for them. We have a hard time just maintaining our focus for that long. And I don't think it's just kids, because I know sometimes when we go through and try and do an entire anchor text for 90 minutes, even I'm starting to wane off a little bit. Yes, I prefer the close readers actually, because they break it down and they have the questions in between. When we do the anchor text, I try to break it down and scaffold it similar to the close reader, because the close reader will have questions along the way, so it's not just read questions at the end. Or if we do, because one of the strategies I try to teach them is, let's read the questions beforehand, so as we read the anchor text, we know what we're looking for. But sometimes it'll be 2 pages down and you finally get to the answer. So the close reader is much more approachable for them, because I know with the close reader, I can't have them do the anchor text on their own. That is not a possibility. But the close reader, I can have them work with a partner and go through it, and then we go through it as a class, because those questions kind of break up the text. They make it a little bit more approachable for them. I think that there definitely is value to them. I think that it's good for them to see what other 7th graders are reading or other 8th graders are reading, so that when they get to the state test, they're not like, oh my God, what is this? When they get to the forward exam, they've seen that language before. My only concern with the anchor text is just sometimes it's hard to get through both of the anchor texts in a unit. I think I need the most help with teaching writing. We focus so much on the MAP test, and the MAP test is important, the forward test is important, but if you look at them, they don't really assess writing. They don't have the students sit down. The forward exam incorporates a little bit, but they don't have the students actually sit down and write. So because we are so focused on the MAP test and getting our scores, getting our goals, very little time is spent teaching writing. And I know that that's one of my weaknesses, actually teaching them, okay, this is an introduction, this is a paragraph, this is a conclusion, here's what you need. And having the time in general, that's one of my problems, is teaching it, but also being good at teaching it. I don't feel very confident in my writing teaching abilities.